I'm Steven. That is Lloyd. That is somewhere Eric, and E-Rock and Tiffany, and we're from Just Got Played. And today we're going to tell you about our favorite new to us game in 2021. So this is a game that wasn't necessarily published in 2021, but we played for the first time in 2021, and it was our favorite one from that whole 365-day time span. All right, so let's start with E-Rock. E-Rock, what do you have for us?
All right, so I know I say this all the time, but this was a really hard choice for me. We played a lot of really good games this year. I could go off on a list, which I'm not allowed to do, of all the really good games that we played this year. I mean, there was quite a bit of them. Some of them were actually played with people in this room. I mean, obviously they were a lot of them. But I'm just saying, it was a really good year for us. To be fair, I don't think we really played any 21 games. I think everything was like before that. We've been kind of catching up, as it were. But I think for me, for this year, it was Dune Imperium. I think Dune Imperium is just a really awesome game all the way around. And it almost made this choice easy for me because I do definitely have like a top three, but this is the one that just kept saying it's got to be Dune Imperium. It's got to be Dune Imperium. I just really love the mechanisms that's going on in there. I'm kind of a Dune guy anyway. I don't know if that really helps or not, but you know, I've read the first couple of books. I've seen both movies, you know, so it just feels like it fits really well into that whole world and that whole story. I'm not saying it's any kind of like a direct translation. It's not like, you know, well, now I just lost my train. The Lord of the Rings one or the Star Wars one, you know, it's not a direct story, but I think everything really fits into that world really well. And then you have the deck building, which I'm a huge fan of, going all the way back to like Dominion and stuff, you know, and then the way that integrates in to how you manipulate the board, and even like the extra cards that are left over kind of at the end of the round, you can use those to buy cards and stuff. So like every little bit of this, like, you know, they used to say, let me try to think of the saying. Back in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, they're like, we used every part of the pig but the oink. Like, I kind of feel like that's this game. Like, every bit of everything is used in some way. And it's really tight kind of sometimes between, what do I use this for? Do I use it for this or for this? Or do I wait and use it at the end? And it's those kind of really delicious decisions that really just brings this game to my mind all the time. I'm always thinking about it in one way or another. So I got to go with Dune Imperium.
Yeah, you know, I've seen this game sort of racing up the BGG charts. You know, it's in the top 100, pretty high up in the top 100 now, which, you know, it pretty rapidly got up there. And I'm a big Dune fan myself. I read, you know, like pretty much all the Dune books and even some of the prequels. And, you know, but I don't know, for some reason, I just haven't played this game yet. I've had some opportunities to play it and I just chose something else. Maybe it's because I'm not really into deck building. Deck building is not my jam, but I really should play this and I think I would enjoy it.
You really should.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not a deck builder. You know what I'm saying? You're not like drawing a hand, playing a hand, drawing a hand, playing a hand. It's like, it's way more drawn out than that. More like Clank-ish, except way more complex, like second level on top of that. So, but absolutely, anybody who hasn't played it, at least give it a try. I'm not saying go out and buy it. Not everything's for everybody, but give it a try.
Well, so I saw that Lloyd was trying to exercise you while we were talking about that. So Lloyd,
everything's for everyone. Exactly.
Lloyd, why don't you tell us what you've got then?
Yes, you were besmirching deck building. That's like, I think that's probably my favorite mechanic. You go through all these shelves, you just see lots of deck builders, all different flavors. But I didn't have a giant list of new to me games for 2021. I went through the list. I don't track my plays because I'm too lazy.
Because you're a normal human?
Yeah. But the group I play with tracks the game. So I had him send me over a list of all the games, and I didn't have that many. And going through the list, most of them were ones that I'd already played previously. So there were a couple that were new, but none of them were quite as new or as top of the top for me than the G.I. Joe deck builder, which I got right at the end of the year. It made it. I got it for Christmas. And And I played it a couple times before the new year. And then when I got sick, I got quarantined to this room, and I've been playing it nonstop, like pretty much every day. I set it up because it's very quick. It's G.I. Joe, which is one of my favorite themes. And I know we've covered like Venom Assault on the channel, I think 2 or 3, 4 times now with all the Kickstarters they've done and reviews. And it's strange how very, very similar it is. I mean, even the box art, which I'm doing a video later that will show the similarities of it. But even the box art is almost identical with like Cobra Commander over the top of the world. It's eerie how close they were. I don't want to say someone copied off of someone, but it's very close, even down to using dice to resolve combat, which is very odd in a deck builder. But it's so much more streamlined in that game, and it way less of a footprint, way faster to set up and tear down. And it's not knockoff G.I. Joes. It's the actual G.I. Joe. So you're playing as Snake Eyes or as Flint or Lady J. And it's not like other deck builders like Legendary or stuff like that where you've got a Hulk and I've got a Hulk. I've got, Spider-Man and another player has Spider-Man. No, once I recruit, Roadblock is on my team. And he's only on my team. There's not multiple copies of him. So your deck feels very unique in that you're not seeing the same cards from everyone, which also means that there's a lot more cards in the deck that are different because every card is unique. There's only a handful of duplicate cards and they're just equipment. But all of the characters are unique, and they didn't even scratch the surface. So I'm assuming they're going to come back with an expansion somewhere down the line. But that was my top play. After I went back and looked at the lists, I had lots of other good games, and just going back through our previous videos of top plays of the month, I could have chosen any of those, but I've only played those once or twice in the entire 4 or 5 previous months that we've been doing those videos. Whereas this I played, and it could be because I'm locked in this room and I can't leave. So it could just be that, but I've been playing it every single day since I got it. So I probably played it 15 times now since Christmas.
So what player counts have you played it at?
Huh?
What player counts have you played it at? All solo?
It's one.
You can play it solo, and you can always do 2-hand if you want to get the teamwork aspect of it. Ambidextrous. So, but yeah, I've only played it solo. I've only played it just the single, which it has its own little quirks, which anytime they go down to a single player with most games, it does. So it kind of takes the teamwork aspect out, where if player 1 goes on a mission, player 2 can help out and toss in cards. But it works pretty much the same way. You're kind of limited by how many cards you have. You just get to reserve some cards at the end of each turn that you don't use to take into the next turn with you. So you have a slightly larger hand. But I really like the way it works. It's got a cool aspect with the missions with vehicles, and your vehicles have a certain amount of seats in them. So you can only take that many Joes with you. So it ranges from 1 to 8. Some things only have 1 seat, like the Ram motorcycle. You can only take one Joe in, so it better be a good one. So I like there's some
right on each other's shoulders.
Yeah, I was just thinking that sounds like it started a joke. How many Joes can you fit in this vehicle?
Yeah, they need a clown car variant promo card. But yeah, that's my top game. It came in right at the end, and like I said, I've played it so many times, it has to be my top play. The only thing I played more than that is Quicks with my wife, and that's because it's a 10-minute game, and we can knock a couple of games out in 15 or 20 minutes. So
That's
cool. And you got to talk about 2 games. I want to talk.
No, you know the rules.
So I sort of had the, I guess, opposite experience of Lloyd, because my game, my favorite game of 2021 that was new to me, I played way back in February for the first time. And also I think I played a decent amount of games. I mean, back before COVID, I was, the years before COVID, I was playing 80, 90, 100 new games every year, right? But now, not as many, but I still managed to play 68 new to me games last year. And I think that's pretty good. And so back in February, I played Isle of Skye. There's some tagline. What is it? Chieftain does something. What is it? From Chieftain to King. I don't know why. Okay. So sorry. I got it right over there. So I played it again also yesterday. I played it on the app because I kind of I just wanted to make sure. I was like, is that really my favorite game? Like I keep thinking it was, and I've played it a few times, but I want to go back and play it again just to make sure, that, I'm remembering it all properly and that it still stands up. And, I didn't like it as much on the app, but I really do enjoy the game. And it shouldn't be a big surprise, right? It's a tile laying game, and I do love tile laying games. Although I would say what I really like about this game is not the tile laying. The thing I really like about the game is the auction mechanism that is in here, right? So in Isle of Skye, you're a chieftain and you're trying to build up your the area for your clan, and you're getting these tiles, and there's a set collection mechanism on how the tiles score and where you put them and how you score points. But the way that you get them is every round you're taking 3 tiles and you're putting them up in front of you, and every player is doing this simultaneously. And then privately behind a shield, you're bidding on your own tiles. So you're going to throw one of those 3 tiles away, and the other 2 tiles you put your own money on, and then you reserve some of your money if you want to potentially buy somebody else's tile. And then everybody sort of reveals how they have valued their own tiles, and then it goes around in turn order, and you could buy somebody else's tile. So if I put 5 money on my tile, you have to give me 5 money to buy that tile for me, and then I get to keep my 5 money that was on that tile as well, right? And then I don't get that tile at the end of the round. If I do have my own tiles in front of me left at the end of the round, then the money that I put on them it goes away, and then I get to put the tile in. So you could get 3 tiles in a round. You could get 0 tiles in a round. If you put all your money on your 2 tiles, so you don't have any money to buy any of anybody else's tile, and then people buy your 2 tiles, you just get nothing that round. I mean, you'll have a ton of money for the next round. But I love that auction mechanism, and I haven't seen any other game that copies that. I'm not sure why. I mean, there are games like Castles of Mad King Ludwig, which has the Master Builder, which has just sort of an inferior version of that auction, in my opinion, because everybody's doing it simultaneously. There's not this just wait on somebody to price everything, and I don't know. Eric, you've played this one too, right?
Yeah, that one is arguably my favorite game of the time. Like, I love that game. So,
wow, cool. Has anybody else played it?
Yeah, I've played it. Yes, Tiffany, you have played this. You just don't remember. Yeah, there you
don't
go.
remember anything ever.
I think this is also my favorite Scottish themed game of all time. So the Highland Games, Scottish Highland Games, are coming up here in Central Florida this weekend. So I played Glenmore for the first time today. Okay. But I still like Isle of Skye more. Yes.
It's a good game.
Scottish game.
I agree with you. I think the auction mechanism in there is really good. I just feel maybe the rest of the game's a little dry. But, not everything's for everyone. So, but I still think it's a really good game.
Well, wait a minute. You like Raw, and it has a really cool auction mechanism. But the rest of it is very dry.
I don't think so, really. I mean, and I mean no offense. I know you guys love this game. I just feel like you just play some tiles. Like in Raw, you're not you're just collecting things. You're not really placing them down, I'm just saying, I don't want to go off on a tangent because it is a really good game. I'm not trying to throw it under the bus.
Well, I like Raw a lot too, of course. Yes. But Isle of Skye was my pick. So Eric, what was your pick?
Honestly, I'm going to cheat for a second, just for shock value. I'm going to say Dominion was something that I played for the first time this year, and it is insane considering I've been playing games as long as I have.
I'm surrounded by deck builders.
But honestly, if I had to pick my favorite new to me this year, it was Bärenpark. I've played that one a lot. I introduced it to my family when they were here for Christmas, and then my dad wanted it as his Christmas present this year, so I bought that for him. And he called me right after Christmas because him and my sister and my mom were playing, and he wanted me to like clarify a rule for him. So, like it was just it's been an excellent game, and that falls into that tile layer / kind of polyomino game. I like polyomino games too, so that one's really been excellent. I've enjoyed it a lot. I play it with my kids. I've introduced it to a lot of my friends, and it's gone over well with everybody. And you know, it scratches that polyomino itch that I get from something like Patchwork, but I can play it with more than 2 people, which is awesome. And and honestly, I was disappointed in myself for waiting as long as I did to play with what they call the advanced variant that adds the objectives in the game. And playing with the objectives just makes it even more fun because I felt like after the first few games, it started to feel a little bit samey for me just because you were always going for the high tiles. But once you add those objectives into that, I feel like that really fixes that because all of a sudden taking a 4 value tile or taking a 2 value tile, that 2 value tile might be better because that objective, it finishes that objective first before somebody else. And then you get a 9-point objective out of it. So, you know, I liked that it mixed the math up a little bit and made it more fun. But yeah, Bärenpark was definitely mine for 2021.
Have you looked at the expansion? I know there's at least one expansion. Have you looked at what that adds?
I have not yet.
Yeah, so, I haven't either. So I was curious. Polyomino games. I played a ton of those this year. Bärenpark would probably be in my top 5 of polyomino games.
We haven't played this one, but shake your head. Nope.
I haven't played any of these games. I'm sure of it.
Well, I know that you have played the next game that we're going to talk about because Tiffany, it is time for you to tell us about your favorite, deck builder of 2021.
Yes.
Keeping it all up, guys.
To be fair, I feel like the deck building is a minuscule part of this game.
It really is.
Yeah. I tried to pick Underwater Cities as my favorite game, but I was told that I did not play that in 2021 for the first time. So I'm stuck with Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is still a phenomenal game. It's super great. It's a little bit deck building, tiny bit. But I mean, if you want it to be deck building, hey, go that route and build the deck. You build the shit out of your deck. That's great. But it's more worker placement, resource management kind of game, which I also super love. But it was new to me in 2021. We've played it probably 6 or 7 times, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair estimate.
Yeah.
I mean, we've even played online.
Right. Yeah. So really, to be honest, with online plays, it's probably a little bit more maybe. But we've played it a decent bit, but I love worker placement. I love resource management. I'm just a Euro kind of gal. So Lost Ruins of Arnak really scratched that itch. And it's got this fun Indiana Jones type theme to it, which is super silly. And if you've seen any of the videos that I've been in, you know that I'm a big fan of good components. And I really like the components in this game. They're the little pieces. I don't remember off the top of my head what they are, but they're
like
really
arrowheads and little tablets and
the arrowheads are like super cute, and it's just all. I feel like the base game looks almost like a semi-upgraded version of a regular game that you would buy. So it's a lot of fun. It's not super complicated. I don't think it's super hard to learn for people that aren't terribly entrenched in this hobby. So I felt like we played it with some friends who are gamers, but they're not like hardcore gamers. And they really enjoyed it. So I really liked Lost Ruins of Arnak. I know it was very popular. I'm one of those people that I never read Harry Potter because it was too cool and I was not going to jump on the train.
I think they call those hipsters.
Yeah, I'm like anti-hipster. No offense, hipsters. I just don't like you.
Isn't anti-hipster the new hipster?
Yes, I think it is. So if I would have known how popular it was when I played, I wouldn't have liked it, but I didn't. So I do, and I'm stuck now with that being my choice. So it's great. Got great components. It's a fun play game. I just liked it.
We've introduced this to a lot of people. Sorry, Steve, but we played this with a lot of different kinds of people, and everybody we played it with has really enjoyed that game.
Yep. Yeah.
It is surprisingly approachable for a CGE game.
Yeah,
that's true.
We played it with my son, who was 11 at the time, and he really was able to access it, play competitively, engage in the different mechanics. He loved it. But we've also played with seasoned gamers who enjoyed it also. So, I think it's really accessible.
Yeah, that game was all the rage for several months this year. And, people were trying to get copies. It was out of stock and everybody wanted to give it a shot. And, it has those two different sides of the board, which is cool. I actually think the Snake Temple, the second one, the one they tell you not to start on is I prefer that one to actually play on. But, and you can play it in so many different ways. So you talked about this being just a little bit of deck builder. I played it one time sort of like that was my strategy. Like I was thinning my deck and powering up my deck. And it was weird because I had these turns and I just did everything with my cards and I had workers sitting there and I'm like, I guess I'm not going to send them out because you have to use a card to send them out. But I was using my cards and combos to do other things. And I was like, wow, this is weird because it's like, I was thinking of it as a worker placement game, but I wasn't using my workers. How was that possible? And
that's weird.
And also the strategy was valid. I mean, I won, right? So
nice.
It's not to say like I just did some dumb thing and lost, right?
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I actually think there's a lot of different ways you can play that game, and that's probably part of the appeal. Things kind of get samey for me after a little bit, but I never really felt that with this game because there's so many different ways that you can go. Yeah, you can be deck building. You could go towards the research. You could really just try to open up all the different, caves or whatever. There's so many different things to do. I think it really just comes together well and like you were saying, all of them are viable. It's not like you're going to go, well, I'm going to work on research this game. And then you look and you're 40 points behind at the end of the game. No, it's competitive. Everything that you do, it's just really fun.
Okay.
Do you think player count has anything to do with enjoyment in that one? Because I'm going to be honest, I played it once with 2 and was not particularly impressed. But with all this conversation, I kind of want to try it again now.
I've always played it at 4. I played it like 6 or 7 times at 4. Yeah.
We've mostly played it at 4, maybe once at 3. And the one time we played online was at 2. And that was probably my least favorite game. So that might have a lot to do with it. With other people going around and opening up all the different temples and stuff, that could make a big difference. Yeah.
Well, also locking you out of where you're trying to go and making you think a little bit harder about what your strategy is. I think it's absolutely more competitive and more engaging at 4-player.
You're right, because the board doesn't get any. Well, I guess it does. You kind of block things off, but
you just open not the same, more with a 4-player. It's not the same,
right? With a wide open board and 4 players sitting there, you have this path. You're like, oh, I want to go there and I want to go do that. But yeah, she's right. Like you just get blocked out. Now you got to totally adjust. Because there's always something to do, even when you get blocked out, even if you can't do the thing you were trying to do. It's just not possible. That's okay. Now I'll work on my research a little bit. Or, well, look, there's some really good cards up there. So there's just always something to do no matter what.
Yeah, you say that, but you always go hard research. And that's super obnoxious, just saying. He says you can there are multiple paths to victory. This one always goes research, and it's obnoxious.
You got called out, Eric.
Oh, man. Maybe. Well, you know what? I'm going to contact CGE because, I know that they were nominated for Spiel des Jahres and all that for this game, but they may want to put on the box, Tiffany liked it.
That's right.
Just got played, one of our top plays of 2021. I'll make them a logo. They can put it on the box.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Steven. That's Lloyd. That's Eric. That's E-Rock. And that's Tiffany. and we're from Just Got Played. Thanks.
Come subscribe. Oh, by the way, guys, we actually did what we promised. In the last one, we said we were going to do of the year, but I fell through, man. I said live bears.
Yeah, you said there would be live bears, and I tried to get one of my kids to put on a costume and help me out here, but it
would have been awesome.
You should have told me.
We do have Bärenpark.
That's
Is
true.
Yeah, there were bears because I said Bärenpark.
Close enough.
It doesn't count.
It counts. Judge accepted. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a comment or hit the like button. It really does help us out. If you have suggestions for future videos, let us know in the comments as well, and then subscribe to see what we come up with next.